Welcome to the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
I'm Jill from New York.
And I'm Linda from Tasmania.
We are two moms from opposite sides of the world who are living, demonstrating, and helping moms across the world build their self-care asset bank.
Ready to dive in? Messy, interrupted, imperfect, and most of all mucked up. Let's get going. Hello. Back again. Our favourite time of the week.
I love it.
Yep.
Hi.
And we've both been feeling a bit flat today.
Yeah, and I've been feeling like a lot lately that we've been needing these conversations.
Yeah. It took us a while to hit the record button. We just had to catch up for a second first. So why don't you kick us off low and high? High and low.
Low
No
and
particular
high.
order.
Let's see. We'll go for the low right now, just however bland I'm feeling after having band-aids pulled off today. Let's put it that way. I need a refresher. And high, I'm excited for this weekend coming up. As we're recording this, it's the weekend of my birthday. So I am super stinking excited for all of the fun things. And it's coming up to Memorial Day weekend, which is our remembrance of the veterans, memorializing all those that have died in service. And it's the start of the summer, like the holiday that starts summer. So it's all around a very exciting weekend. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. How about you? Lows and highs.
Lows and highs. Also feel like I'm ripping the hairs off with the Band-Aid a little bit. We've had a bit of a week of unpacking, as we like to say, between mastermind and work and life and things. So I've been feeling the frustration levels in the last 24 hours, that's for sure. High, I am also looking forward to the weekend just to reorder and reorganize a little. I recently moved the desk back into the spare room, out of the bedroom. So there is stuff, a lot of stuff surrounding me, the box in the background, more papers if I move the chair that way. And so I'm actually, as much as I detest it at times, I'm actually looking forward to getting a little bit more order around me. Yep. So on ramp to a high.
Yeah, I love having an organized space that brings the vibe to get work done.
Yeah, exactly. At the moment, it doesn't quite feel like that. Pick up this little one. Hello.
Hi, see.
Going to come and join us. What are we going to chat about today? We did have on the agenda the cost of self-care.
Self-care and how much it costs, the emotional, financial, and physical tolls it takes on us, or that we have to put into even thinking about doing self-care.
Yep. So when I say the cost of self-care, what does that mean to you? What do you think of when you hear that?
Like, this is a good question. The cost of it. What am I like exchanging for having to do or for performing self-care for myself? What is, there's some kind of exchange. So that there's something there that I'm exchanging, and I don't always know what until it's in the middle of it, though.
Until you are in the middle of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for some of the time, I almost feel like I had to sacrifice one thing to put self-care on my list, because it did feel like it was on a list of another thing I had to do, and therefore I was going to miss out on that thing instead of instead of maybe vacuuming the floor, I might decide to go for a walk Well,
Oh,
the
yeah.
vacuum of the floor was still there, even if I might feel a little bit better after the walk. So it's a little bit, I guess, comes back to that tournamenting, because I've got better at this as time's gone on what actually is the priority here.
Yeah.
Not just what feels like or what will please other people. But I think that's also what I think of a little bit when I think of the cost of self-care. Like what is it costing us? It in both a positive and a negative, high and low way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if you could hear that. The garbage trucks just pulled up the street again.
no, I cannot hear. I hear singing over there. The garbage trucks.
It's got the reverse beeper going on. I'm like, it's
Oh,
really loud from here. No. So symbolic. It's emptying out the rubbish, trash.
oh my gosh. So in that case, what it's costing us, but what is it costing to even do self-care?
What's it
Like,
costing not to do it?
yeah,
Like, I find there's also a huge cost when I don't do self-care, because I'm the cranky psycho, very impatient person I don't want to be. And it's a good indicator that I need to fit it in or do it. So, yeah. Sorry, I jumped in on your question.
oh no, you're all good. Well, it's like I had I panicked a little and I was like, I need to get out. Let's just get out. But I didn't want to actually go do anything. And
Mhm.
after I ended up getting Declan home from school, I was like, we're gonna go home. We're gonna go home. But he made me take a walk. And honestly, it was the cutest walk we had. And it changed everything in my perspective for a little while, which was worth then taking that time. Because it wouldn't have cost, like, it didn't cost me anything to go out. I still
No.
spent the time with Declan that I was supposed to be spending with him. We just
Mhm.
did some physical activity.
Mhm. Mhm.
We ate ice
Yeah.
pops on the walk, like, and held hands. It was perfect. it it cost me my time where I wanted to be lazy and wallow and not benefit myself, which turned out to be a positive cost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But how often can we fall into that? No, I really don't want to go for a walk. Come on, let's just go home. I've got things to do. I've got to get dinner ready. I've got to blah, 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 blah. I've got to vacuum the floor. I've got to like.
Definitely, because it's not that, I mean, our walk probably lasted 10 minutes, and as soon as we got back, I kept saying, no, we got to go inside. I got to go get stuff done. And did we? No, but I complained about it for the next half hour, saying, it's time to go inside. It's time to go inside. Toddlers.
Yeah. But again, like even though it was only 10 minutes, you probably, I know sometimes if I'm in the loop, I can get stuck thinking it's going to take this huge chunk of time, and it's not worth trying to make that sacrifice cost to do that, even though there's living proof that it does benefit and it does make it easier and it does actually, there is a beneficial cost.
Right. So then that goes back to your point in, is that a priority?
Yeah.
Is it a priority for me to go spend those 10 minutes with my son, or to sit on a chair, letting him go play by himself while I scroll TikTok for 10 minutes?
Only TikTok's generally not a good idea.
No. So no, I mean, it was worth it for me. That was a priority.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think as well, once we're in that place of especially tiredness or overwhelm or
Our own cup has been drained.
mm-hmm. Internally depleted.
Bandwidth.
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 Well, we happen to have another episode of that somewhere.
Right.
Scheduled, just coming up in the queue. Yeah, when the bandwidth is low, the volume is really loud on the outside. So it does make it hard to make, essentially you need to make a decision. Am I going to go for a walk, or am I going to sit here and get crankier, or just feel like I'm doing self-care,
Yeah.
even though it's probably not the best self-care for me right now.
No.
I just want to convince and justify that it is. Yep.
Are you limited then, or I should say, do you limit yourself to what kind of self-care you do because of the cost that's associated with it?
Sometimes, yeah. Especially time cost. Yep. And a lot of that is probably skewed in my own mindset or perspective.
Yeah, because I'm sure what costs more to you might not cost the same to me. The value of that.
And sometimes it depends on also the day. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I also think that sometimes by taking that little bit of extra time, can actually gain more time.
Yes. Yeah.
I need to live that a bit more though.
Let everyone soak that one in.
Yeah. So what about if we're talking really practical terms, financial cost of self-care?
I mean, it depends on what you define as self-care that you're spending money on doing. I know so many people say, oh, go do, go spend money on services for self-care. Like one thing my husband did for his self-care is he goes out on his own once a week, but he's spending money doing that with whatever he's ordering drink wise. And if I were to go do that, I'm more cautious of what I spend on drinks, and I don't enjoy myself going out by myself. So I go to breakfast instead. So then I worry less now about the financial cost and more about the time cost on that one, because I'm cutting into alone time that I could be working. Yeah. But it sets me up for my day. So I prioritize that now that way. But I used to go get my nails done. I stopped doing that because it was, I don't know, a hefty cost. But I loved it. And then maybe one day I'll get back to it. I don't even know what else I spend money on for my self-care. I try to find all the free things to do that make me feel good, because I am so financially concerned in my own mind because of past trauma with money, I guess. That in and of itself affects my self-care when it comes to finances.
Yeah, but that's an emotional cost though as well. You need to put in conscious and unconscious effort to make sure, well, why am I currently just spending for the sake of feeling better, or am I spending to actually provide some self-care?
Right.
Maybe the two are fairly linked, but there's
retail therapy, does that really work?
Does it really work? Please tell us if it does, because generally in my experience, it's a short-lived burst. And then
usually followed by buyer's remorse, and then
like,
another trip to the store to return it.
Yep, which actually ends up costing more time and money than it was even worse.
These highs and lows, man.
Yeah. But even like we're encouraged to do maybe yoga or something, right? Which I would love to get back into some of that stuff. But right now, it's not my priority.
Yeah.
Financially, time-wise. It needs to fit in a little bit more. I think I need to do some stuff at home.
Are we internally, like, subconsciously figuring out the pros and cons to the self-care and weighing that out?
Hmm.
Would your money be spent better someplace else where it fits better for your time?
Would it?
And then are you actually just lazy?
Yeah.
Could you really just go out and go take a yoga class?
Or do it at home on YouTube.
Yeah. Like I said, I try to find the free routes.
Mhm. But taking a walk is a fairly, inexpensive exercise. Yeah.
Definitely is. Unfortunately, it comes with more headaches when you're taking a toddler and a bicycle that they don't want to ride anymore.
Or a dog.
Or both.
Uh,
And the dog weighs as much as you weigh.
Lucky we've got the long and lanky dog at this end. She'll have a burst. We let her off the lead at the bottom of the hill and she runs up the hill to get home because she knows where to go home.
I love it. Mine goes straight for the car. Tries to get right in the car.
Yeah. But thinking about, I guess, coming back to our original question of, should self-care be a sacrifice or something we feel like costs us in other areas? Or do we need to completely flip that mindset? Which I'm starting to, thanks for these conversations and other things.
I think being aware of the options for yourself and what self-care things you can do, or the way you can pay attention to yourself and how you're feeling. Not necessarily always self-care, but where you're mindful of what brings you that joy and that energy again, what brings you back to the moment of where you are enjoying yourself, your company, and you can see a little bit of your passion for your life again come through. When you can get to a point where that's the priority, because it then fuels everything that comes after it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
is where we win. So it doesn't have to be that we're spending all this money on toiletries that make us look or feel pretty. We're not spending hundreds of dollars a month on a gym membership because we need to
hardly use.
Yeah, we need that hot mom summer body or whatever it is. And filling our own cups before filling the need to fill someone else's comes more easily and naturally.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're able to stop feeling that guilt of that there's a cost to our self-care.
Yeah.
But how do we get there?
It certainly has. It's taken a lot of practice.
Lots of practice.
A lot of practice. And I know in the past, if I'm in a bit of a slump, I've definitely thought that, well, if I do this self-care over here, it means that I can't do this thing over here. And I haven't been very good at deciding or tournamenting myself towards the top. I have, definitely fallen into that.
I am hoping that through these conversations for us and for other moms that are listening, or entrepreneurs in general too, because this can be taken with or without kids, because we all need self-care. We all are human and feel some kind of a guilt towards where our cost is going. Maybe we can all get the practice in and get better at practicing self-care.
Not mucking it up so much. Or let me rephrase that. Or accepting that
Our mucked up self.
Muck-ups. Muck-ups are okay. Muck-ups
Yeah.
will happen. They cannot be eliminated.
Uh,
I think
Wow,
that pretty much sends you off to sleepy land pretty
I
soon,
think
I
so.
hope. Mm.
I guess we can wrap it up there then.
Yep, good stuff. Until next week.
I hope you can unstuck your muck.
Ta-da!
Bye.